Hello my darlings, welcome to my new K-Beauty series. But first I would like to reference my past series. That series was inspired by my work. I am a holistic esthetician, and when I started that series I was in transition, and what was really important to me and still is figuring out the best brands and products to bring into my practice. The new series is all about the new. It is important for me as a holistic esthetician to stay on top of skincare trends, skincare ingredients. I just want to keep my knowledge fresh, and it will always be important for me to be a great resource for my clients. I want to be able to curate a really great product list for them in support for their skin goals. Before we jump into the new series and talk about all the new goodies I have, I want to talk about a product or a brand that I absolutely love, something that I've gone back to over and over again, but I was not able to squeeze it in the last series. I think it deserves a shout out. And that is the brand Illyoon, in particular the Ceramide Atoll line. I mean, the entire range is very ceramide heavy, but I always gravitate towards the Ceramide Atoll line. Absolutely fabulous. In particular the moisturizer, which was the first thing I met from the brand. It is a cult classic. This is something a lot of people love. Stunning, a workhorse of a moisturizer. This is the moisturizer that I want to go on a 90-day cruise with. I want to be stuck on a desert island with this. It does come in a bigger size. I only bought the minis because kind of makes sense for me. I'm trying out so much and I don't want to be stuck with a huge tub of product, but this is a product that I will always go back to. I will always recommend. I have bought the big jar quite a few times. It is a little bit spendy. I think about 24-25 pounds for the big jar, but I think it's absolutely worth it. The way it functions on the skin, extremely healing and soothing. Winter skincare right here. A little bit goes a long way. Something that I would definitely bring in my practice, something I would definitely recommend to all my clients, no matter the skin type. Despite it being such a rich cream, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. And it's something that I know even oilier skin types will enjoy. A solid 9 out of 10 from me. Some of the ingredients in the Atoll cream are glycerin, dimethicone. I did mention that beautiful sleepy texture. There's also ceramides, extracts of angelica and rosemary, and glucosides, which are an ingredient that are quite supportive when it comes to hydrating and brightening the skin. This little travel kit is so handy to try this range. Very handy and not so bad. I think it's about 11 pounds, 12 pounds, 10 pounds. I'll make sure to link it down below as always. Now let's quickly move on to the Ceramide Atoll lotion. This is a body lotion in this range. Really good, really good. Not exceptional for me because I feel like my body skin is drier, so I need something with urea. I prefer body lotions with urea because that really packs a punch, but this is still not bad. I think if you don't have very dry skin, you will absolutely love this on your body. There's not much I can say about this apart from it is nice, but it's simply my experience. I know a lot of people absolutely love this. They even buy it for their children because it's such a skin-friendly brand. But there's nothing much else I can say about it. It's nice. Let's talk about some ingredients. There's rice bran and canola oil in this. There's also shea butter, quite a few emollients I can barely pronounce. The same extracts as the Ceramide Atoll cream, which are angelica and rosemary, and of course the ceramides. Then we move on to the Ceramide Atoll top to toe wash. I have tried a big bottle of this and I have a love-hate relationship with this. It's a beautiful cleanser. A little bit goes a long way. It's a workhorse of a cleanser. It can do a first cleanse, a second cleanse, but it stings the eyes like no man's business, and that is deeply frustrating. Like, it's a dangerous sport to use this as a cleanser. The amount of times my eyes suffered because of this cleanser, annoying. But as a body wash, 10 out of 10. I wish it didn't sting so much because this would have been one of my favorite cleansers. In fact, I would have even bought it for my practice. but I can't do that because of the eye stinging business. But for the body, absolutely beautiful. Let's talk about some ingredients. It's quite a simple ingredient deck. It has ceramides, of course. It has emulsifiers and surfactants, and these are ingredients that make cleansers. There's also extracts of ginseng, angelica, and beefsteak. Now, let's officially jump into this series. Let's start with one of my favorite type of products, masks. As I said, I'm not only exploring products, I'm also exploring brands. And this was a brand that I found while I was strolling the sites, and it really stood out to me. I love the branding, quite a few interesting products. So IJ got 3 of their masks. They have 2 other ones. I don't know if I'm interested in trying them, but this is where IJ started. Let's first start with the one I'm not quite sure of. Let's first start there. This is the Fraijour. I'm not quite sure how to say the brand name either. Fraijour Heartleaf Pore Melting Gel Mask. Right. This is a gel mask that has AHAs, PHAs, and BHAs at a low level. But despite having all those powerhouse ingredients, it hasn't particularly stood out to me. It's not a game changer. I don't see myself repurchasing it, and I don't also see myself willingly recommending it to clients. I think it's the right product if you already have a great routine and you just want to add a little bit of something extra. But if you have more serious issues and you want heavy hitters, this is not something I would recommend. Because of its gel-like texture, this is something I've been using as a morning mask just to refresh the skin. As we know, I love masking in the morning. But I have also left it on the skin in my serum step in my evening routine. And both have not really stood out to me, both techniques. Another thing that also drew me in to buy this mask is that it has biospicules, which is an ingredient that is meant to mimic microneedling. When I do put this on my skin, I can feel a little bit of a tingle, a little bit of something going on. But I mean, I'm almost done. And when it comes to masks, I want to be impressed almost immediately, because masks are supposed to do that. They're supposed to give the skin an instant effect. And this hasn't quite done that for me. I'm going to give it about a 3 out of 5. Let's talk about some ingredients. The biospicules that I'd mentioned, there's also heartleaf extract and powder in this. There's sodium hyaluronate, quite a few glycerin derivatives. There's extracts of licorice, broccoli, rosemary, and tea tree, and there's also glucosides. Didn't change IJ's life. Now for the second mask. This is the Pro Moisture Milk Toning Clay Mask. When it comes to clay mask, it's so hard to convince me. I make my own clay masks. I buy clay in its raw form, and to me that is the best way to use a clay mask. But I know that's not also for everybody, and neither do I recommend it for everyone. So I do like to dabble in a few clay masks here and there. Right, well, this is not particularly standing out to me, but I have enjoyed it in my morning routine. It does have some exfoliating beads that make it quite nice, leave the skin feeling quite refreshed. But I think if you're the oiliest of oiliest, this won't touch the sides. You might enjoy this a little bit more if you are drier skinned and even dehydrated skinned. You might enjoy this a little bit more. But this has not particularly impressed me. It's not something I would repurchase. But I will keep it in mind for those who have the skin types I've mentioned, more drier, more dehydrated skin. I might recommend this to them. As I mentioned, I have particularly enjoyed using this in my morning routine. It does leave the skin soft and clean, but I just want a little bit more. I lean more onto the oilier side, more combination skin. I do get a bit congested in my T-zone, so a really good clay mask is something that stands out to me. This, not so much. Maybe a 3 out of 5, but a strong 3 out of 5. let's talk about some ingredients. There's glycerin in this, clay, quite a few extracts such as anise, radish, wheat, and rice bran. There's also prebiotics from the rice and green tea in this. There's olive oil derivatives, jojoba oil, and a milk protein extract, which is an ingredient that is rather hydrating and smoothing. Forgive the lighting, the sun is setting and I'm filming with natural light today. But let's jump into the Retin Collegen 3D Core Radiant Mask. To me, out of the 3 masks, this is possibly the hero mask out of 3 of them. I need to go through another tube before I really decide if I love this and if it's something I want to constantly repurchase. Simply because I think it's one of those products that you need to have in your routine for three months before it really stands out to you. This is an overnight mask, it's not a wash-off mask, aka very glorified moisturizer. I think I like it. I think I do like it. I like the texture, I like how soft it leaves the skin. I just need to try tube number 2. I need to try tube number 2 before I really decide. I also feel like this is not a product I can use every day despite it being an overnight mask, aka moisturizer, because of the retinol derivatives. I'm being mindful, retinol is not an ingredient I use consistently, but I'm working on that. But I think if you do use retinol every day or you have a really good relationship with it, you're aware of what it does for your skin, this is something you can definitely use every day. Maybe you want to use it on the days that you don't use your retinol, just to, you know, pull back a bit, but still have that ingredient in your routine. A 4 out of 5. Let's talk about some ingredients. Retinol derivatives, as I had mentioned, there's glycerin, shea in this, there's lots of extracts, lots of different types of collagen and peptides, and there's also bakuchiol, which is something like a retinol, but it's plant derived. Let's jump into something that we are not going to even talk about for long. I have to read out the name of this product because everything is in Japanese. This is the Trouble Care Skin Conditioning Lotion from HadaLabo. This is a brand I absolutely love. It is very hyaluronic based and they do one with alpha butene. No, they have reformulated. It has tranexamic acid and that is an OG for me. It is a ride or die. I always have it. In fact, I have reordered it. I'm expecting it in the post. That is something I would definitely recommend to quite a lot of clients. So because I have so much trust in the brand, I thought I should try this. And I'm not amused. This is in the green range, and the green range is created for oily skin. And I just find it to be a little bit too astringent. It has this minty feeling on the skin, which I really don't like. For me, when a product has that feeling, it could be a sign of irritation. I'm not rather amused, even though I have oily skin, even though I have an oiliness in my skin, I don't want to completely strip my skin. We know that's not how to best serve oily skin. I'm going to finish it up. I have a rather hydrating and moisturizing routine, so I know how to buffer that. But also the ingredient deck is nothing to talk about. It's complex for nothing, very heavy on the extracts, and that's also something I'm quite mindful when I'm recommending a product, because some people are quite sensitive to extracts. They react to them just the way you'd react to an essential oil. So for me, it's a no. I'm not going to be repurchasing, and it's something I definitely don't recommend. Now let's go to the other side of things. This is the Celimax Noni Moisture Balancing Toner. This is a brand I really like, Celimax. I have tried quite a few things from this line. In fact, it has the only clay mask that has ever blown my socks off. I'll make sure to link that review down below. I think I did it with my masking series. Yes, I did it with my masking series. So I've been trying to try a few things from there. I tried a toner last time as well in my last series. And here we are with this one. This is not bad. It's astringent enough to pick up the oils from my skin. It behaves like the way I want a toner to behave. It's not particularly hydrating. I feel like if I want a bit of hydration from this, I need to go in with 2 to 3 layers. Why I'm not like head over heels for it is because I know other toners that blow my socks off. This is not bad. solid toner, definitely recommend it. But because I'm a tonaholic, hi, I'm IJ, I'm a tonaholic, I love toners. This is not something that is deeply standing out to me. I definitely do recommend it. I do think all skin types would enjoy this. It's not astringent enough to harm drier skin types. And I think oily skin would also still feel refreshed if they put this into their routine. I don't know if I would repurchase it. I don't know if I would. Okay, I know, I wouldn't repurchase this, but I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it. Let's talk about some ingredients. It has quite a simple ingredient deck, but the stars of the show are Noni extract in 80% and amino acids, which are an ingredient that helps support the moisture levels in your skin. Last and certainly not least, this is a Farmstay green tea seed moisture cream. Why did IJ buy this? Because it was dirt cheap. It was under £5, and you know, I thought add it to the bag. And I liked this idea of it having green tea. I really like what K-Beauty does with sunscreen. Sunscreen is not just protection, it's also still a chance to nourish the skin and really make a beautiful ingredient deck. In saying that, I am not the master of sunscreen. When it comes to sunscreen, it's one of the most boring parts of skincare for me. So I don't really even get into ingredients and stuff like that. I usually rely on my skincare influencer friends and other estheticians to just guide me when it comes to that matter. If anything, this is a very difficult sunscreen. It does leave a white cast. Not all the time. You have to really work it into your skin. It doesn't want a busy routine. Like, you can't have a lot of skincare underneath before you put this in. You'll never be able to work it into your skin. It's also quite matte, and I don't like the matte look. As you can tell, I like to look rather glowy, rather juicy. But let me share a tip with you. When it comes to white cast matte sunscreens, they are the perfect thing to put underneath makeup. They act almost like a primer and an oil controlling type of product on your skin, and a really good grip for makeup. And that's how I've been using this. I've been using this underneath my sunscreen, underneath my makeup application, and I really like the results. I like how my makeup looks, and that's the only reason I would recommend this. Otherwise, I would not recommend this. We already know so many fabulous sunscreens out there that don't give us a white cast. So that's that. And that's that, my darlings. This is the first episode of my new K-Beauty series. Down below, as per usual, I will make sure to fill up the description box with everything I've mentioned in this video. And I want to thank you so much for being here. My name is Ijoma, and I'll see you soon.